My name is Tia Lendo. I'm part of the Google education team. We're so excited to be here this year. And I'm excited to be back in London because I used to live for 7 years. I did teacher training and I used to teach year 5. Is it too loud? Too loud? Oh, down in front. I thought you said I was being too loud. So yeah, please come on and have a seat if you want. You can stay as long as you want. In the next 15 minutes, my goal is that you will walk away from here with some really practical tips, either for yourself or for your fellow teachers or your students, about how you can use some of the free, simple tools online to make learning a little bit more magical and to make your life easier. So as you know, we'll be starting in just a second. Google wants to make sure that people have access to the world's information and to put it in an organized way. And at the core of Google, of course, is search. So in today's session, we'll have one each day on making learning magical. Today's session will be all about search tools. So how can you empower your students to make the most of the web? There's so much out there. How many of you think you know how to search well online? Is anyone feeling like sort of comfortable? I thought I knew how to search well, and then I started to work at Google and I realized I knew, 2% of the various tools I could be using, and I also didn't know where I could go to find out more. So I want to first show you how can you get up to speed a little bit more about search, and then I'll demonstrate some of the tools. This is a preview of our new website. Our education site will always be google.com/edu, but next week we'll launch this new version, which is still a work in progress. So please, if you find errors, don't embarrass me. We're still working on it. We're going to have materials for teachers, organizations, and students. And for teachers, one of the best pages, I think, that they'll like to go to is educator resources. So depending on what you want to do, are you looking about computer science, are you trying to search or gather and share information, you can come in here and you can get to the educator pages. So for search, we have a whole page of lesson plans and tutorials. So you could come in here and you could just find a lesson on, say, basic search. There'll be lesson plans, presentations you can use, and frankly, I found that everything in here is adaptable regardless of the age. Okay? So there's everything from how search works to tools. I did a talk in a secondary school last week, and a lot of the kids thought that people answered search queries. They thought when you typed into a bar that there was somebody on the other end giving you the results back. Now, for us, we were all alive and thinking when places like Google were created. So we get that there's this algorithm. But if kids don't know that, then actually they can't search because they don't realize that when what you're trying to do is type words in that are likely to appear on that page. You don't know that if you think that somebody answers the queries. And I think you'll find that that's more common. They didn't know things like if I put John Smith in brackets, that I'm likely to return places where John and Smith are next to each other. Some of these are really basic tools that are going to save kids time. Because, technology can do so much for the digital divide, but if we don't empower kids, especially those kids who at home don't have the exposure to it, it's going to exacerbate it because their peers are going to be able to navigate through online tools so much more easily. So I encourage you to take a look at the search tools. I'm going to show you a few of the tools that you might be able to play with. A Google a day is a great way for you or your students to practice search. It's a daily search puzzle. So I'll come in here, and there'll be a question for me. This one happens to feature England, which I think is really lovely. And what you'll do is you put the search in, and you try to answer the question. And if you get stuck, they'll give you hints about how to search. Some of it might seem intuitive. Some of it might not. For example, let's go to this, see if it's still up here. I'm going to show you a Google a day here So here's one from the summer. This is from a summer from June 25th. And the question says, does the Navy have an official web page that tells the story of the ghost blimp in World War II? How would you figure out? Does anyone know? I mean, how would I find out if the Navy had an official page about this alleged ghost blimp story? Does anyone have an idea about how you might do that? Any ideas? So basically, if you want, you can do a search and you can type sites Navy.mil. That will only return results that are official pages of the US Navy. That is a great tool for kids who are trying to find, primary sources. And as you're trying to teach kids, how do you evaluate the quality of your search responses? So that would be the only way somebody could answer this question, really, is by knowing that. But you don't need to memorize them. They're all in there in the tutorials. And the kids know better than we do that you can go and figure it out. But they have to know to do that, and they have to know why it's important. So a Google a Day is a great tool for kids to practice. Another really fun one is What Do You Love? WDYL.com. Now, what do you love really just does a search of all the different type of results at the same time. That seems to be a little slow, so I've got one already in here. So this, I love the London Olympics. I was lucky enough to get some tickets to the 100-meter finals in the lottery, so I'm feeling pretty excited about that. And I'm kind of passionate about the Olympics. So if I type into what do you love London Olympics, I not only am going to get web pages and images, but it's going to search anything that Google has. So a lovely 3D model of the stadium out in Stratford pops up. Or how often are people searching for Olympics? Some really fun analytics you can do in there in a history class or a math class. Books about the Olympics. I mean, translate. How would you say the Olympics in other languages? So this could be a really fun way. There's nothing really that's different than just typing London Olympics into here. But what it's doing is it's pulling from all of these different types of search results. So for kids, that could be a really fun way to have them look through their passions. While we're in here, I want to show you some of the tools on the left search bar, because I suspect many of you don't even know that they're there. For example, a great one for education. Time frame. If you're doing current events, if I type in Steve Jobs, maybe the day after he passed away, I might want to see the latest news from the past hour. Let's see what happened with London Olympics just in the last hour. Okay? Or just in the last 24 hours. I think the British men's gymnastics team made it. I could find that out because I looked in the last hour of the last day. Another great one, translated foreign pages. So I want to know about Americans in Iran. But I don't want to hear, maybe, from lots of Western outlets. I want to hear what people locally think. So I'll go to translated foreign pages. Because I typed Iran, what it's going to do is it's going to look for pages that are written in Persian. And then it automatically translates them to English for me. So suddenly, as a student, I get to find out about the perspectives of people writing in that as their first language. And you can imagine for English or media or history, to be able to have those viewpoints from around the world is really critical. These pages were in Persian, but it just happens to be showing them in English right now. I mean, it still absolutely blows my mind, even though I've been here for 6 months. So translated foreign pages is really fun. Let's see. Speaking of the Olympics, does anybody know who this guy is? Anybody know who that is? Come on. No one? No guesses? Okay, so we don't know who he is, but we can find out, because now in images, you can do a search by an image. So I'm just going to go over here to images. Going to take that out. And I'm going to drag this picture in. And this is going to tell us who it is, hopefully. Okay, so it's Roger Bannister, the first man to run a sub 4-minute mile. You can drag yourself in if you want to see if you're famous. You can drag anything in. And I think that this image search is so exciting. I'm just going to show you a short video. There's actually 4 ways to do it if you can't drag and drop. So I'll just play this one for you.
Search on Google. Now you can. It's search by image. Whether your photo is from the web.
Sorry. I seem to be having some random background noise. Exciting. So yeah, there's 4 ways to do image search. you can either drag and drop in, or you can also just go into the image area. Oops. You can also press on the camera. So you could upload a picture yourself, but you could find an image, either a URL, a web address, and you could search for an image that way. You could upload one from your camera. That's an image search. There's also so many tools within books. So, Google has over 15 million volumes scanned, which is some crazy percentage of, post-Gutenberg publishing. And since they're scanned, you can search the words in books, in book search. So if you come in here, there's some ideas for how a teacher might use it. One of the tools is called Ngram Viewer. Ngram Viewer allows you to compare how often words occur in books over time. So we could do any two words, really. Maybe we could do, this is going, internet and cyberspace. This is a really, those terms didn't seem to really exist before. That's interesting. You get into a little word history. When are they getting popular? So, again, for any sort of analytics, you can imagine using this in a maths class or history, just comparing anything under the sun. Some are Rolling Stones people. A lot of mentions. So that's telling you in what percentage of the scanned works are those appearing. I mean, you can have a lot of fun with that and do a lot of very cool analytics using these tools. Let's see, what else do we have here? Book search, books. You can create a custom search engine for your website. Just searches over. So if you have a class website or a school website, this tells you how to do that. And Scholar, as you probably know, allows you to search scholarly journals. And also, some of the most exciting things is it allows you to see what other works that people have published, which really helps students get an idea. For example, how often has it been cited? How many other works has this person written? Again, helping our kids think about how do they evaluate the quality of the results they're finding. So there's new tools coming in there every day. So I think I'll pause there because I know that we need to go on to some other things. That's just the search section. Each day we'll try to show you a few different tools that are going to be on here. But like I said, as of next week, this revised website should be there. We have 180 education-related pages at Google. So we realized we needed to do a better job of making those kind of intuitive for you to find. So you'll be able to see things, whether it's products and tools or professional development, all in this kind of one-stop shop. So thank you very much for coming. And if you haven't already seen it, there are schedules of the other talks floating around. So please do come back. Thank you.